Hey guys, NV here, and in this video, I want to show you how to create your first photo effect. So I'm going to go ahead and load up a photo by clicking open. And this photo right here is what I want to use this effect on. If you do not have a photo to do this effect or follow along, you can download this photo directly from the photographer himself in the description below this video. Okay, so in the layers palette, I want to duplicate this layer. I'm going to hold Control and tap the J key on the keyboard. And I want to name this photo effect. I'm going to right click on that and say convert to smart object. I'm going to double click on this layer, this photo right here, and it's going to open it in a new document by itself. Now what I want to do is add some gradient map. Okay. Now I did talk a little bit about gradient maps and how they're interesting, and if applied correctly, they can create some amazing things. So I'm going to go down to the fill and adjustment layer icon right here and select gradient map. Okay. Now I'm going to go to my gradients, which are up here, as you can tell. And I'm going to use my gradients. I want to prove a point and how good they are. And I want to make a black and white right now. And what I'm going to do is click on this gradient box. And I will allow you to copy the values that I have here, which nothing really to copy here. It's just a black. So you just drag yours to a black. And yours is probably going to look like this here. Oops. Click on that diamond icon to say 50. So what you want to do is when you select the black, on that little diamond icon, select that icon, that little diamond shape, and say 70. Okay. And on the white color swatch here, we want to say about 80, something like that. And click OK. And by the way, if you already clicked OK, it's fine. But right here, you can add this gradient, but you can see the effect right here. So if I showed you how it looked before and then after, a lot of good detail and highlights. And go back to the layer panel. I want to go ahead and add another gradient map by going back to the fill and adjustment icon and saying gradient map. Clicking this little arrow, well, you don't have to because I'm going to show you what to create. You would click the gradient box like so. Now it looks a little funky, but don't worry. So what I want you to do is copy the values of what I have here. And I'm going to do that by showing you the value right here. You can see it. F4, F4, F4 in the hex value. Okay. And in the next color, and by the way, to add another color swatch to your gradient bar here, you just click anywhere like so. Okay. And when you click on that, like this, for example, you just click the color box and then you put in this value CCA 059. And then you click OK. And then to the far right would probably be a white to you, I think. And go back to the color. And it's 121127. And click OK. And you can also again click new, and that will add it to your gradient set. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now it does look a little funky, and that's because I'm going to go ahead and double click back on gradient map 2, and we need to select reverse. And there you go. Now you have that very dramatic color tone. Now what I want to do is select that and hold Control and select this one as well. And hold now, just let go of those. Go down here, hold Alt and Shift key. And this will bring up our folders options. And let's name it Gradient Maps. Click OK. Now I want to add a skin texture to this, the photo. We'll go back down here to the fill and adjustment icon, go all the way up to pattern. And I'm just going to leave it on water. Why not? This photo effect is going to be interesting, but it's going to be really cool. And what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and right click on that and say convert to smart object. And I'm going to do the same thing I did earlier. Hold Alt and Shift. Click on this folder icon. Call this skin texture. Just like so. Press enter. And let's select the pattern label, pattern here, the file, the layer. Go down to the FX icon. Blending options is what we want. Right here, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in this photo a little bit, just a little. And right here, in underlining layer, this is a trick. Hold Alt key, click just to the right of that tab, and that detaches it, like so. And drag it to about, let's say about 180 and let go. Okay. And we're going to do the same thing with the right tab here. Hold the Alt key and just click just to the left of that. And let's say about 170. What that's doing is bringing out from this the one on this far right is bringing out the highlights. Okay, and I'll show you more about that in a second. In blend mode here, general blending, in blend mode, we want to set that to multiply. See that? Now let's go back and I'll show you the highlight here. Right now, if you watch this area here, which is the highlight area of her face, I'm going to hold the Alt, click on that, and drag it over. Now you can kind of see how it's blending through, and that's what I want, okay? Just like so, and I like that. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. That looks pretty good. And now what I want to do is set the opacity to 60. Yeah, let's try 65. I think 65 looks pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and minimize that by clicking this arrow right here real quick. Well, actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and mask this layer, okay? So select the pattern fill layer, and we're going to go ahead and go down this layer mask icon and click on that. Keeping on the layer mask, I'm going to zoom out here real quick. Tap the B key on our keyboard. Go to our brushes real quick, to our brush settings. We'll change the spacing here to about 15. Just creates a less spaced out brush when I'm painting out. And I'm going to go back to brushes here and go to legacy. Just want to make sure that I am on the right brush. Okay. And I want to go ahead and increase this size of this brush significantly. So I'm going to hold the Alt, right click and hold and drag to the right. Yeah, about right here is good enough. I'm going to zoom in one more time. And what I want to do, I might go a little bit bigger real quick. And up here in opacity, if you watch that and tap the 4 key on your keyboard, it gives us about 40%. And if you remember when I said about hiding the paint, if you don't want to see it, you use black, and you want to see it, you use white, okay? And that same rule applies here, and I'm going to show you again. So I'm going to keep it where it is, and I'm just going to paint very softly over the texture here. Just a little bit, just to blend it away, like so. And again, if I decide to flip this around and say white, and by the way, I'm going to make the opacity 100%. And if I decide to click with the white in the foreground, you can tell it brings it back, okay? Just wanted to show you that real quick. But I'm going to undo that, keep it where it is. I'm going to take the brush and make it a little bit smaller. Again, holding the Alt key, right click and hold, and drag left or right, okay? And now that we have this masked, and I like the way it's masked, I think it's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. And now I want to add some shade to this photo, okay? The way I'm going to do that is going into right here, channels. And if you notice right here, red, green, and blue, well, that makes up the RGB, okay, of what we're seeing here. I want to select this green and hover over the photo, hold the control key, and if you see the cursor change, you see that? That little marquee rectangular tool cursor pops up. Hold the control and click. And this pretty much selects the highlighted areas of this photo. We can go back to the layers panel, and we can go ahead and select RGB now. Go back to the layers panel, go down to the fill and adjustment icon one more time, go all the way up to solid colors. Actually, if we do that now, it'll look funky. So let's back out of this, stay where we are, hold the control shift key, tap the I key on the keyboard. This pretty much reverses our selection or inverses it, as you can see here. Okay. Going back down to the fill and adjustment icon, up to solid color, and there you go. Okay. And I'm going to leave it black and click OK. I'm going to hold the Shift and Alt key and click on this folder icon. I'm going to name this, I don't know, shade. Okay. And I'm going to say 55. So tap 5 2 times on your keyboard, just like so. And that kind of shades it out, makes it a little bit more softer and blends it in there. And if we wanted to, we could. You see how very highlighted it is, and it's not bad. It looks really good. If you wanted to, you can click on that and drag that just under the skin texture folder, and that kind of softens it out. So I'll reverse that and let you see that. So I'm going to undo it. See the difference? Okay. Just like that. And I'm trying to decide if I like that or not, actually. Um, I like it where it is. I want to keep it just like that. Okay. And now what I want to do is one more effect. If I did not do this effect, my wife would probably kill me. And I want to do this effect because she likes eyes. She loves anybody that does eye effects. And that's what I want to do. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to show you, we're going to do some more masking on this photo, okay? So let's go ahead and do the eyes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to alt-click this folder. I'm going to hold the alt key and click on this folder. I'm going to call this eye highlights. And now I'm going to go down to the fill and adjustment icon again, and I'm going to select levels, I believe. Let's see, let's experiment with this. Let's go to this right tab right here to the far right, and we're going to drag it to the left a little bit and see. This is what we want. Yeah, 175 is good. What I'm going to do is stay on this layer, hold the control key and tap the eye. And we're going to come in here and zoom in. And if you get these gradient grid, this pixel grid here, hold the control, tap the H key on the keyboard. This will hide that so you can get a better detail. I'm going to tap the B key on our keyboard one more time. It looks very huge. Hold the Alt key, right click and hold, drag to the left, just like so. Okay. I'll say about right there where it is. And now it's on our black, so we don't want to hide anything. We want to reveal the layer. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and tap the X key on the keyboard and reveal. And we're gonna have our foreground white. And now we can come in here and paint, just like so. Okay, just a little bit, just on the highlight part of her eye, maybe even there as well. I'm gonna drag it over. I'm holding the space bar, by the way, and dragging it over. Click, drag, and release. Click on the highlighted part of her eyes, just like so. Maybe there, a little bit. Tap the H key on the keyboard, zoom out and see how we like it. And I like it pretty good. So there we go. I'm going to leave that there where it is, but I am going to go ahead and soften this a little bit by staying on this layer mask right here, going up to properties. If you don't see properties, by the way, you can go up to window and click properties. Okay. And I'm going to feather this a little bit, say about 1.5, I guess, work. Just a little bit, just enough to add a little feather to it. And I think that looks pretty good, and I like where it is. And that's, yeah, it's looking really nice. So now I want to go back to the skin texture real quick. Select the layer mask, zoom in here, pretty close. And this technique, by the way, this masking technique that I'm about to do is the same technique you would use if you were wanting to properly make glamour photos. This is the same thing you would do if you were doing a proper glamour photo, okay? And we want our background, we want our foreground back to default. So we want to make that black. And we're going to start masking over her lips, and only her lips and mouth, her entire mouth, basically, okay? And we're just going to come in here, kind of trace out the lips a little bit, just like so. Now I'm going to come in here and alt click. So hold the alt key and click one time on that. So that reveals the mask, just like so. And I'm just going to fill all of this in. Okay. I'm trying to get it fairly decent, but I'm on, time constraint here. And there we go. I think that looks good. Zoom out a little bit, and we're going to do the nose. Very difficult to see, but you should be able to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and click and do the dark areas. It's basically what you want to mask is the dark areas. Doesn't have to be perfect, just so you know. And I'm zoom out here and go to the eyes. I want to do all of this area here as well. I'm going to come in here and start masking all of this. I'm going to basically outline the eye area. Just right there. And then I'm going to alt click again on the layer mask and just fill this in like so. Okay. Just like that. And go back to the other eye, do the same thing, just very lightly, like so. And make sure your opacity is at 100%. Just want to cover that, make sure you're there. And let's fill that in, like so. Now let's go ahead and zoom out. I think that looks pretty good. I really do. Because realistically, also, you would also do the eyebrows. So I'm going to do those as well. I'm not going to be perfect on this. I don't really care to be. It's just demonstration. But I want to show you uh, it makes a difference. Again, it's not perfect, I know. But uh, giving you a general knowledge about how to do this. And go to the other eyebrow, do the same. Because if you're properly glamoring a photo out, using blur, Gaussian blur, or something on the photo, you want to do to mask their hair and stuff. If you want to really create a soft, glowy skin, a lot of people overdo glamour photos as well. But yeah, I'm liking where this is. I like where it's going. And I'm going to go ahead and minimize all of that. Just double check. So I'm going to click, hold, and drag up and release just to see the before and after. Just like so. Looks pretty good. We could, if we wanted to, go to the skin texture here. It's already adjusted down pretty well. Let's say 60. Okay, let's just want to play around here. And I'll go to 65. I just want to see. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good, I guess. Yeah. Let's go back to fill an adjustment layer real quick. Options. I want to just see something. Yeah, I actually might go in here and change this value, this little white tab, hold the Alt key. You don't have to hold the Alt key, actually. You can just click and drag. I want to make that a little lighter, actually. So I want to say from 170 to about, I don't know, let's say 100. Let's just go back and see how that looks. Yeah, yeah, because the goal for me here was to just create a hint of effect. Let's see. Just trying to get a good feel of this. 55. I'm going to keep this at 55, actually. I think 55 is fine. So keep everything like it is. And now we're just going to go ahead and click on that little X right there and say yes. And it's going to update our photo. See? Just like that. So if we uncheck our photo effect, there's the original and there's our new one. Okay. So now let's go ahead and save our project by going up to File and Save As. Save on your computer, back out of all of this. Go to our projects folder. And I'm going to go ahead and name this my first photo effect. And click Save and OK. And let's save it as an image as well by going to File and Save As. Same thing, save on your computer. And we're going to go to Save as JPEG. And click Save and OK. And there you go. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here. And until next time, I will see you in another video.